Welcome, my political friends of the interwebs. I have been bombarded with a ton of questions regarding my book project. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out one of my previous videos titled Cool Conservative Libertarian Project. All right, here's the thing. One of the most important questions I think that I received was this. Will there be a disclaimer at the beginning of the book basically stating the opinions of the individual authors are solely theirs and theirs alone, blah, 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 blah? Yes, I absolutely believe that we need that disclaimer for a lot of reasons. More importantly, though, you know, if somebody says something that is, I don't know, slanderous, we don't all get sued. But, you know, I do want to say, though, truthfully, I envision, this is the way I envision it, and I've talked to a couple of you about this. As the essays are completed, I think that it's important, before this ever gets published, for all of us to read each other's essays. I mean, literally, all of us. And if there's any kind of questions that arise from an individual author's work, then we can all address that as a collaboration. Because none of us are interested in getting sued because somebody's essay is slanderous or whatever. I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I want to have fun with this. It's supposed to be a fun project. You know, I don't want any downers, but you know, I think we can handle that. I really do. But yes, I do believe that there should be a disclaimer at the beginning of the book. And you know, the other thing too, if there's 10 authors, I guarantee you there's going to be a couple of them that you're not going to agree with their stand on something. So I think it is important just to make it clear that each individual author's opinions are solely theirs. Okay, especially since I'm kind of merging conservative and libertarian. And I want to address that real quick, by the way. I know a lot of people have argued about whether or not libertarian values are more in line with the liberals versus the conservatives. And I've always said, if you've watched my videos, you know that I align myself more with Glenn Beck than I do with Sean Hannity. Although, in a real world sense, I'm much more aligned with the Republican Party than the Democratic Party. Pretty simple. So you can argue that all day long. I think that there are some libertarian views that go much more that are much more in line with say the Democrats or the liberals. And then, but you know what? Same can be said. A lot of libertarian views are much more in line with the conservatives. But I like libertarianism. I'm kind of a libertarian at heart. At heart. Not as much in my brain, but at heart. So but I did want to add conservatives with the libertarians. And maybe if I do this again, I'll add liberals with libertarians. Well, who knows? But anyway, it is what it is. And I love the fact that people started to debate whether or not conservatives and libertarians were in line with one another. So anyway, other questions. People wanted to know when these essays had to be in. Well, I understand it's summertime, and you want to know whether or not you can fit this into your schedule. People have vacations and whatnot going on. I'd like to have them in by the end of July. It's very tentative. I think once we get everybody in place, we can all kind of get a much more firm date. But I think that by the end of July would be good. And hopefully you can fit that into your schedule. Now listen, we're only talking about 10 to 15 page essays. Now you can make a longer one if you want, as long as you don't get crazy. But you know, I think it would be reasonable to think that you could accomplish that in a couple weeks. You know, now once everybody's done with their essays, I think it would be important for all of us to kind of read everybody's essays, and just in case there's any kind of questions or whatever, and I think it would be very helpful. But the end of July, I think is more than reasonable, in my opinion. You know, in my opinion. Also, pay. Okay, people want to know how that works. Well, you know, listen, I've never done an ebook before. I'm assuming that what I would do is start an account with Amazon, and as the books are sold, then money would be put into that account. It would be an open accounting deal with us. So if you wanted to see the books, you would absolutely have the right to do that. And then ultimately what I would do is cut people's checks for whatever percentage they have. So, you know, simple. You know, I'm hoping simple, but you never know about that stuff. But I mean, like I said, just for easy math, if there's 10 people and we make a buck, each person gets 10 cents. So if that buck gets put into the account, you know, then it gets distributed at whatever point we all agree on. you know, whatever. I don't predict that we make a ton of money on this, although we may make some. I mean, it's hard to say. You never know about ebooks. I remember reading a story about a woman who wrote a book that she had been turned down by a gazillion literary agents. She did an ebook on Amazon and ended up selling 500,000 copies, you know, at $1 a piece. You know, so you just never know about those things. But I'm not doing this for the money, and I hope that that's not your motivation either. And now listen, I am a capitalist, don't get me wrong, but to me this is a cool project to do with fellow conservatives on the interwebs. That's really what it's about for me. Now, which, by the way, brings me to the question, another question that somebody had, which was, could they just be paid a flat fee? You know, that would be impossible for me to do, because I don't know what that flat fee would be. You know, and I'm sure that their idea for the flat fee, well, I don't know what their idea was, but you know, I don't even know what that would be. I really don't. We may sell, and I've sold T-shirts and hats. I've been doing that for years now, and I will tell you that a very small percentage of the people who subscribe to you actually purchase stuff from you. I think as it stands right now, we have just the people that are confirmed to be in this. We have about 30,000 subscribers collectively. Maybe a little bit more than 30,000 subscribers. Here's the thing. The truth of the matter is that only a very small percentage of those will buy this, and if we're selling the book, let's say we sell the book for 99 cents, or even $2.79, or whatever, it doesn't matter. You're talking about really a relatively small amount of money. So, you know, yeah, I really don't think that it would be possible for us to pay any individual. So either you went along for the ride or you don't. It's just that simple. Unless you want to do a deal where the money's not any important to you, and you want to do a deal where we buy it for $1, you know, whatever. So yeah, that is what it is. Which brings me to the next question: can you use, or do you have to use your real name? Well, no, and I've said this. As far as the credit of the book on the book goes, you can use a pen name, you can use your YouTube name, you can use your real name. Completely, absolutely up to you. Now, for pay purposes, because I'm going to be writing checks, I'm not going to be sending people cash. I personally will need your real name. But it would be, believe me, and I've been around a long time, people will tell you, you can trust me with your real name. You know, I mean, that's just the way it is. So yeah, if you want to use, for example, Admiral Tony, okay, Propaganda Buster, whatever he wants to call himself. You know, in Japan he's big as Texas Daddy, if he wants to be known as that, or if he wants to put under his name, Admiral Tony's, aka Propaganda Buster, aka Texas Daddy, whatever. You know, whatever he wants to do. But when it comes time for me to cut him a check for whatever money is being made, you know, now I know Tony's real name. I've known it for a long time now, but I would send the check in his real name. So, or whoever's name you want me to send the check in. I don't know. So anyway, oh God, what other questions did I have? I had so many of them, but I think those were the most important ones, and I don't want this video to be a forever long video. But, you know, ultimately, I think this is going to be a really neat project for us. I think that a lot of people will enjoy it. I think that for the most part, it will be something that you will look back at and smile and be glad you were part of. Now, that's a big hope on my part. You know, it may not end up like that. I don't know. You know, I'm hoping to get some guidance from a couple of the people that I've invited to be in this who've actually done ebooks before. You know, I've never done one before. I know that Colonel Stephen Hayes has. I think he's done a few of them. So some guidance from him would be important. The little that I do know, just from glancing at the requirements from Amazon.com, is that you have to... it has to be in Word if you're going to upload it. Oh, which reminds me, somebody did ask me whether or not it was going to be available on other platforms like the Nook. And yeah, eventually. I think we start out with Amazon and then we move to the Nook. I don't know, you know, Lee Durham could probably answer that because his book was available on both. I don't really know the difficulties, if there is any difficulties, or if there's any kind of formatting issues there or not. But I don't see any reason not to have it out on everything. Also, remember that, by the way, if you don't have a Kindle, you can read Kindle books on your computer. You can download it, and it's a free app. You can download Kindle for PC. which I used for the longest time before I actually ended up purchasing my Kindle. In fact, I read Three Men in a Hut, which was Stephen Hayes' book, and Lee Durham's book. I read both of those on my computer. And it was a fairly pleasant experience, truthfully. You know. But anyway, listen, I'm not going to keep you guys. I'm already over 10 minutes, good Lord. If you got any more questions, keep sending them. Hopefully we can get this project up off the ground. And I hope and I really do pray that it ends up being a really great, positive experience for everybody. There are going to be haters, yeah, but we're all used to that. So that's another reason I wanted people who make videos, because people who make videos understand that. There's always going to be trolls. There's always going to be haters. There's just no getting around that, you know. So, having said that, everybody have a great day, and good luck, and hopefully this works out great, and I'm sure it will. Everybody take care. See ya!